Hey everybody, and welcome back. I have changed the stream title. We're still in retro because we're still dealing in the realm of retro gaming. And we are going to look at a Electronic Gaming Monthly from December 1991. When games featured in this episode. Yeah, look at all these systems on the market at the time. Nintendo, yeah, using just the word Nintendo to mean the Nintendo Entertainment System. Sega, pretty much, you know what, look at this. We've got Sega, and we've got Genesis. Yeah, so, hey there, Bill. Yeah, so, I don't know if you've been around, but I've been, since the beginning of my stream back in 2020, I've occasionally done vintage video game magazine coverage. It'll typically be about the specific game I'm playing, and I'll look at what else was in there aside from the review or preview of that particular game. But it's been fun just looking through these in general as part of my stream. Just, like about an hour or so of gameplay and then looking through one of these magazines. Now, I like how we have Sega and Genesis. So by Sega, they mean the Sega Master System, which technically, the Sega Master System was originally marketed in the West as the Sega System. And then there was a certain package of the Sega System that they called the Master System, and then that just became known as the phrasing for the console in general, I think. The only Master System game cartridge I own is Sonic the Hedgehog, which I run on my Mega SG when I play that. But we've got... Yeah, I don't know what special video game supplement site's supposed to mean. Like, I guess just additional... I don't know if it's just like... Is it like a Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel? Hey there, Gamer. Oh yeah, Gamer saying hello, thanks for the stream today. Check the VOD, and it looks like I just beat Krakow. Oh yeah, Krakow is... That was a mean boss fight, because it did not end... This is the first boss fight in the entire game that is, I guess we'll find out. It's probably sort of a punch-out thing, like a punch-out, like cards that you could pull out that'll have tips on games, maybe. But we have Sega and Genesis as different things. We have TurboGrafx 16, which I did rent. My family rented that a few times from the local video store back then. Then we have Game Gear, which is the only console I owned then. With my... Yeah, I've got it right here with my childhood copy of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is 91. This is the year this game came out. This is what I was playing back at the time this magazine came out. Now, I was interested in gaming, but I wasn't hip enough to know all these magazines and stuff. And I was old enough to read at that time. Oh, you had Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So, did you ever get past the first world of Sonic the Hedgehog 2? Because Sonic the Hedgehog 2, oh yeah, Bill Press saying that game was brutal. That game was unreasonably difficult on Master System, and then you see what Ancient, the developer of the first Sonic game, did. They made the game, they programmed it, designed levels for Master System, then adapted the levels to work well on the smaller aspect ratio of the Game Gear. What Aspect did, they just shrunk the screen size down and made the same stages. So, a boss fight that was very difficult in the Master System version was virtually impossible in the Game Gear, that being the first world of the game. And, yeah, the movement scene combined the tiny screens. And the worst part is that when you're dealing with level 1, world 1 of Sonic the Hedgehog, the first world of Sonic the Hedgehog on Game Gear, that boss is not a boss you defeat by attacking it, you just have to outlast it. Hold on, someone's knocking at the door. Hold on, let me go see what's going on. Yeah, they knocked on the wrong door. My next door apartment, my next door neighbor, well, not next door, like 3 or 4 down the hall, ordered some Chinese, and they delivered to the wrong door. Oh yeah, the 6 double A's. Bill pressed. So, Bill, And Gamer, did either of you ever hear my Game Gear poem? Just out of curiosity, did either of you ever hear my Game Gear poem? Because I don't think I've ever cited that since back when I was doing my poetry streams earlier in the... Oh, Bill has not? Alright, we're getting Game Gear poem. We're getting, poetry on stream right now. Hold on, let me pull up. I will go to... here we go. For those who would like a link to the text of this, I just dropped a link there, but I'm going to... This is Game Gear, a tribute. Game Gear keeps you busy till the train's here. Full color screen, 8-bit graphics so vibrant they make your eyes tear. No one cared that it's just a smaller Master System. It had top tier games, so we put it into commission. Stereo sound to listen, but only if you've got headphones. Can't squeeze 2 speakers on something that predates iPhones. Playing on the ride home, Dad stuck in late night Brooklyn Bridge traffic, speed's a no-go. But I'm behind the wheel with Arrett and Seta racing in Monaco. The glow of the screen makes the backseat a party scene. The batteries running out now would be a bad dream. They drain faster than Sonic dying in Sonic Spinball. Mom's got extra Duracell, she's got it covered, so trust her. Vanishing colored gems in columns like fruit gushers. Fantasy Zone, a shooter with Lisa Frank syndrome. Space combat so cute you don't want to quit. Sonic the Hedgehog, where do I start with this? I admired Eggman's robot transformation gimmick, but roboticizing my animal friends is beyond my limit. Doc mocks me with Jim Cummings' Robotnik cartoon voice, because my headcanon for this game is multiple choice. Sandy, Antoine, Bunny, and Rotor are my backup crew. Gonna beat Robotnik and all his badniks too, and solve mechanical puzzles too tough for Nancy Drew. The Doctor's sinister, his boss stages make my head spin, but in the name of great justice, I gotta fight him. Powered by 6 double A's of bottled lightning. Loved my Game Gear. For playing in the dark, nothing came near, but its nemesis the Game Boy was one for Sega to fear. Nintendo's black and white screen made Sega get cocky, let their guard down, but Game Boy came swinging like Rocky. Smaller price tag, which the parents loved, needing less batteries fit budgets like a glove. Barely small enough to fit in a 90s kid's pocket, looks like a brick today, but back then it was some hot kit. You know Mr. Yokoi's team was proud of it. And the batteries lasted a lot longer too. You could play all day hiding it under your desk in school. And Sega boned their own ads by dissing Game Boy fans instead of luring handheld gamers with an olive branch. Wow, what a system. How could I not miss it? Nostalgia soaring high like Space Harrier missiles. I showcase it on Twitch to help spread the word. Sometimes it's new to even long-time Sega nerds. I talk forever on Game Gear. You know I like this. But my batteries are low, so it's time to split. Yeah, so that's my Game Gear poem. Which I wrote on... I did not write it on this word processor, my AlphaSmart. It's usually the one my daily driver word processor. Hold on, let me go grab it real quick. Yeah, so most of my poetry, as well as all my fiction, and then my professional writing as well, is done on this little gadget. This is the Primera DM100. This is a word processor that I had to have imported from Japan. If you take a look at the keyboard, you'll see it is actually has a Japanese keyboard, but all you have to do is press the caps lock key and it switches it over to English. Now some of the function keys or some of the punctuation keys were different spots in an American keyboard, but I got very used to it. Now this machine has no internet access. It does not have a color screen. It runs on 2 AA batteries, and it does not have Wi-Fi. It has no apps. It does not have speakers. All this does is write, and it has absolutely changed my life. I actually have a thing where I could wear it on my hip, which is really cool. But these days I'm usually carry it with a bag. I carry sort of like a messenger bag. And Bill Press is saying they only had 2 or 3 games I think for the parents' side of Super NES would be a better idea. I did not have a home... I got my Game Gear in 91. I did not have a home system until Nintendo 64. But heck, we're 10 minutes into this. Let's get into the magazine itself. Oh, hold on. Alright, so let's... Where's my PDF? Okay, here it is. So, I'm gonna have to speed through this a little bit because I spent so much time talking about like poem. But of course, we could always come back to these. Now, this is a game I heard of after the fact. I heard of this game at the time, but I didn't. I heard that there was a game where you could win real life prizes. It was this game. Scooter's dream starts where most games finish after battling sharks, conquering space, surviving miniaturization, getting lost in fantasy forest. Our hero Scooter finds the treasure, but gets to keep it. It's up to you to guide him there to keep your share of the treasure. Master Vault opens up with a secret password on April 11th, 1992 at 12 p.m. EST. You and Scooter will have to be in top training to get there first, because it won't be easy. But all your practice and training won't be wasted, because mastering the 5 tough treasure worlds will prepare you for the ultimate quest for fantasy prizes right at home. As the treasure master, you will navigate treacherous depths. This sounds like a job application. Navigate treacherous depths in your personal submarine. Explore exotic foreign planets. Engage in hostile aliens in arcade-style combat. Master all the wacky tools as you search for treasure. Master Microsoft Word as well as Microsoft Excel. Interact with a variety of mysterious creatures. You are given 12 hours to learn the secret password and compete to win fantasy prizes. Requires forklift certification and knowledge of SAP warehouse inventory management software. Yeah, unpaid intern position, minimum 12 years experience required. Ash Ketchum is on this. Ash Ketchum is the only possible qualified person. Yeah, age 10, 20 years experience. And look at all the prizes. $250,000 in fantasy prizes. 2 grand prize winners will choose one of the following. Fantasy concert, anywhere in the U.S. for you and 3 friends. Best available seats, all air and hotel paid for 3 days and 2 nights, plus $5,000 spending cash. Fantasy sports spectacular, best available seats, all hotel and air paid for 3 days, plus $5,000. Fantasy game room, 50-inch big screen projection TV. Awesome component sound system. Super NES with 12 Super NES game packs installed wherever you want in the U.S. And it's funny now, the game that's actually pretty clever, because so gamers actually played this game. Now, Treasure Master is an NES game, so the prize is a Super Nintendo. That's actually pretty smart. Kind of $5 rebate with 6 proofs of purchase from Nestle candy bars. Man, look at all of this. Candyland, the ride of your life. I'm very sure that this Candyland has nothing to do with the board. Oh, Crazyland. Okay, not Candyland. Not Candyland, Crazyland. He moves like a 90s rapper in the game. Wow. I can just imagine it right now. Now, Mega CD update. I like the way you have monthly updates on Sega's Mega CD, just as you did when the Super NES Famicom was being introduced. What is the latest info on this hot system? My concern is that the Japanese unit will be the same as the US system. I want to buy one in December, but not if the US one is different. The letter I'm closing comes from Sega and specifically states that the Genesis is not compatible with Mega CD. You can check into this. Okay. Yes, that's the Mega CD. Yeah, people really were excited for the Sega CD. I know I did not own my family did not own a CD stereo system in the home until 1994, which is, and even when I got in 94, that still seemed like such a high-tech, wow, it's a compact disc and they put this little tiny record and it reads to the laser. By the time that, it still seemed like such advanced technology to play a game on a CD and a cartridge. Yep, Bill Lambeer's Combat Basketball. I've never heard of this game. This is not a game I was familiar with. Who won Best Game of 91? Was it Nintendo's Super Mario 4 or Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog? I like how even once the game's out, they're still casually calling Super Mario World Super Mario Brothers 4, Super Mario 4. Now here we've got some games from Camerica. These are not part of... They eventually released this series of games with, like, I think it was called the Aladdin Deck Enhancer. And the Aladdin Deck Enhancer claimed to add more power to your NES so it could play these special games. What the Deck Enhancer actually was a way to produce cheaper cartridges by having a sort of sub-cartridge that had the most expensive universal components so that the actual individual cartridges could contain nothing more than what would the bare minimum needed to contain the actual programming code. So it was a way to offer their games at a cheaper price. You buy this one little bit that has all the most expensive bits of the cartridge, then you have these little cheaper bits that just have the code in them. But the idea that it actually enhanced the performance of the system was an absolute joke. Oh, gamers ready to start some hot takes. Now, I was not into basketball at the time. I ended up with some basketball cards. Just like if you were of a certain age in those days, you just got basketball cards by osmosis. I believe that if you were born in the certain point in the 70s, you were issued actually, I have one right here. Hold on. If you were born, I believe, at a certain point in the 70s, upon birth, the government issued you a backgammon set very similar to this one. And then, if you were born in the in the 80s, you were issued like several packs of basketball and comic book cards. No one knew where they came from. They just sort of appeared. You just got them through osmosis by being a person living in North America at that point. And Bill Preston saying they're born in 86. They're pretty sure their banner full of basketball cards might have just appeared out of thin air. You know what? Also, if you care about old video games, copies of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 just spontaneously instantiate within your home. They just spawn in. Straight out of they just spawn in straight out of the back rooms. Like, they just appear in your sock drawer, under your bed. You'll just find copies of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 everywhere you go. But Bill Lambert was a notoriously dirty, ultra physical basketball player that Larry Bird hated, and he embraced and flaunted his bad reputation with the release. Oh wow! So so there's a little more. Okay, so that's kind of a. Gee whiz! What foul? All right. Okay. All right. That gives a lot more context. Yeah. That's in an age where in the NFL, there was a point at which personalized victory dances were common in the NFL. That's not allowed anymore. Yeah, and it looks like Hudson Soft made it. Now, Atomic Punk, I don't know which artist did this, but this artist got a lot of work during this time. It looks like a Bomberman clone. But it looks like whoever this artist is, they definitely did a lot of commercial work. Now, Atomic Punk, is this an actual Bomberman game that they restart? Yes, it's by Hudson Soft. Wow, it's by Hudson Soft. Okay. I did not and it wasn't until gamers said they need to bring back that design for Bomberman that I realized that this is an actual Bomberman game, I guess, that they reskinned. Is this something they did for the Western audience, or was this game released in this style for Japan as well? Now, Kung Fu Master and R-Type. Now, I know R-Type, I've heard of Kung Fu Master. Yeah, these are games you definitely, I would have liked R-Type. It's as much as I really like my side-scrolling shooting space shooters, but the only game of that type I've actually played on stream is Stinger, which I hated. Well, I hated it. I was able to have fun with it because I save state abused when I played on the Wii U Virtual Console. Because basically Stinger is a twin B game for Famicom and NES, and that game is the enemy patterns and bullet patterns are balanced for 3 players simultaneous play, and I'm playing single player, so the game was virtually impossible to actually play through. And here's a Super Nintendo version of R-Type. Final Fantasy II, which is really Final Fantasy IV. Fans of the original Final Fantasy will be pleased to know that the sequel is out for their Super NES. And you have SimCity. This is a game I believe is on the Super NES Classic Edition. And I've never played a version of SimCity before. I look forward to playing it. It's a redesign from JP. I mean, come on. You can't, when you redesign from Japanese to English, nothing says redesign from Japanese to English like, oh, I scrolled past it. Oh, excuse me. Now I clicked off of, yeah, I never actually played SimCity, any version of it, even on PC. So, and I think the Super Nintendo version is going to be a very good version to get into. The closest I've actually played to SimCity is, yeah, I think, no, actually it might be Utopia on the Mattel Intellivision. With Intellivision Holdings managing to dig the Intellivision brand deeper and deeper and deeper into the mud, into being a joke, with their freaking Intellivision Home thing, where you need two. You have to download the Intellivision Home app on one device, then an Intellivision controller app on another, use one device as a controller, and then another to play the games on. It's absolutely pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. And now they've actually sold off at least a couple of the classic Intellivision games. So now even just releasing things like these Intellivision multi-cards for the Evercade Versus. Yes, I do have my Evercade Versus. If you don't know what Evercade is, it's a cartridge-based system that plays re-released vintage games as well as new indie games. And there's a handheld form of it as well as a console form, and I have the home console form. Closing in on 2 years ago, scarily enough, I played the first Intellivision pack on there. And if you want to look at that, I have my VODs up here. We're going to probably do somewhat of a retread of that stream when I go in and play both the first and second cartridges. Now, the cool thing about the Versus is that it has 2 cartridge slots, and all the cartridges for this are multi-carts. So when you put in a cart, you basically get a new menu of games. So by having 2 cartridges, you have both menus of games. I basically got this thing specifically to support the original legit Intellivision games, as much as I don't want to give me money, the modern Intellivision Holdings, whatever, Intellivision Entertainment, whatever they call it. So we have Pirates. That certainly isn't making it look thrilling, but I mean, this game must have looked like an Xbox Series X game compared to what is it called? Utopia on Super Famicom. Super Golf. For Game Gear. Never play it. Road Blasters, Mike Didka, Power Football. I almost said Flower Football. I never even took note of this game. It looks like a first-person RPG. Or some kind of first-person adventure. Jordan vs. Bird. I never played this, but I remember my friend had it. This Game Boy Sports title has possibilities, never takes them anywhere. Oh, Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 2. Now, a lot of people will know these games purely in the context of the Angry Video Game Nerd review, and he really highlights the more frustrating aspects of them. But I've only played the first Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. Given to me, my cartridge that I own is given to me by a dear friend who has put food in my mouth and has put shoes on my feet in times when I had very little. And so I dearly appreciate them. They don't have much of an online public presence, so I'm not going to call them out by name. But if you're watching, you know who you are, and I do think about you and wish the best in your direction every day. Pac-Mania, you're Pac-Man in a universe. Oh yeah, so they made it. Is this an NES version of Pac-Mania? I did not realize that Tengen did an NES version of Pac-Mania. It's very interesting. Now, I actually played Pac-Mania in an arcade back then. It's the closest I came to outside of a museum environment. Oh, look at... I never played the, yeah, there's the Adam Family game for the TurboGrafx CD. That's interesting. Yeah, I've played... I rented TurboGrafx and never got to play with the CD unit. Now, look at this here. Rumors are that Sony is getting ready to duke it out with Nintendo over the Big N's decision to skip the Sony shop and fly right into the CDI format with their competitor Philips. Although the PlayStation is yet to see the light of day, both Sony and Philips recently revealed their own CDI formats and PlayStation in the US. The jury is still out on the Sony unit, but the Philips driver, which hit with a handful of game titles finding new players, is finding few players because of its high price tag. Sorry, Sony, but the Q-Man thinks you score a direct hit by going solo. Don't worry, guys. Martin's going for the pizza in Vegas. Yeah, man, it's so crazy. 1991. Look at this cover. The cover story here. Cover story. We've got The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Mega Man 4. We're still covering NES games as cover stories in magazines. And meanwhile, we're talking about PlayStation and saying like, "Oh, sorry, I don't think this PlayStation is going to work out with Sony going on their own with this thing." So it's so wow. What is this? A breakthrough in video game fun. Pick up that sledgehammer. Pick up that sledgehammer and self. You're in for a real Berlin Wall. Oh, okay. This copy. Oh my goodness. Pick up that sledgehammer and brace yourself. You're in for a real workout. Berlin Wall is so fresh, you'll be knocking down walls to get to it. Man, I started reading this as pick up that sledgehammer and self. You're in for a real Berlin Wall is so you'll be down walls, scramble screens. And the fact that they made a game called Berlin Wall. People were shot, people like died choking to death, like being strangled after falling in pits of barbed wire, trying to get over the Berlin Wall. And they're just gonna make some video game that has nothing to do with like the actual Berlin Wall, just because it was in the popular consciousness because of the then recent fall of the Berlin Wall. Okay, fine. Whatever. This ain't Kansas, and the alien off your port bow ain't Dorothy. Starflight. Oh! Sony unveils PlayStation technology at International Electronics Show. Hold on. This is... Sony of Japan has just introduced their CD-ROM drive at the 1991 International Electronics Show. The trade show was held in Tokyo during the first week of October. Set up much like our Consumer Electronics Show, this time it's all the manufacturers of electronic products in Japan. One area that received considerable technology was the development of new video storage devices. Sony in particular unveiled an early version of technology that will be incorporated into their CD-ROM drive, officially called the PlayStation. The CD-ROM system will ultimately be combined with Nintendo's Super Famicom for use in the home. Sony envisions that this combination, while opening up the doors for companies to create software for an ultimate game system, will have broader uses, which are best called multimedia. Up till now, the video game was limited to simple games due to cartridge memory, 12 megabit, but the CD's huge capacity, 4,000 plus megabit. So this is fascinating because we saw this in like one of the first few in the EGM that covered the Game Boy. I think there were different teams working on different articles, and the way news would flow back then would be such as that even within a single magazine, you would sometimes see contradictory articles. Because in one issue we read, they were talking earlier on in the magazine about rumors that Nintendo was working on a standalone, on some sort of self-contained video game console that has a built-in screen. And now we're thinking, oh, that's obviously the Game Boy, but nothing quite like the Game Boy. I think Epic in Japan released something similar. There was the Milton Bradley, I believe, Microvision in the late 70s or very early 80s. There's something quite like the Game Boy, where it's a proper, full-fledged programmable game system with interchangeable cartridge and a built-in screen had not happened before. So they're hearing rumors that Nintendo's working on some kind of dot matrix self-contained game system, and they don't even call it a handheld. And then later in the same magazine, they reveal the first photographs of Nintendo's Game Boy. And so the news is flowing in such a way that even within the same magazine, you have kind of contradictory articles. Because earlier we talked about how, Nintendo's ditching Sony and going alone for... Nintendo ditched Sony, and now Sony's stuck alone with their PlayStation project. And here we have this Japanese electronics show where Sony is still positioning PlayStation, and this is the first. I've never seen this photograph before. This is, I guess, supposed to be a photograph of what... Because the infamous Nintendo PlayStation prototype, that was a prototype unit of a combined PlayStation Super Nintendo unit. And I've never seen photographs of what the standalone PlayStation might have looked like. That was going to be sort of to the Sega, the Super NES, what the Sega CD was for the Sega Genesis, and then they eventually made that combo Sega CD Genesis unit, and that's what the PlayStation prototype that recently was rediscovered. Recently, as in like I think 6 or 7 years ago now. Over 25 million lives will be saved. Game Genie, video game enhancer. Yeah, Galoob won their court case to our great and lasting benefit. So we have lots of different CD technology being shown off. Football so real it even comes with a mouthpiece. Joe Montana 2, Sports Talk Football. So we have Mega Man 2 for Rockman World 2. I didn't realize, it looks like the Game Boy... I didn't realize in these Game Boy... These Japanese Game Boy Mega Man games were called Rockman World, whereas in America they just called them Mega Man, and just treated them as their own series with the same name. Yeah, totally not Arnold Schwarzenegger right there. American Sammy Corporation, the Sammy that later merged with Sega. Yeah, no, these are... I haven't done it yet, but as Gamers suggesting, I do plan on definitely cropping. A lot of these magazine discovery moments are definitely going to make great shorts and clips. Okay. A force stronger than your parents. A force stronger than your parents doesn't want you to play this game. Oh yeah, because Vader doesn't want you to play it because he'll defeat the Empire. Okay. SCAT. Special Cybernetic Attack Team. Unfortunate name. Shadow of the Ninja. That's Shadow of the Ninja right here. This is one of those games that I remember late night playing on my TV. In fact, you know what? I don't do this often, and I'm probably a bit foolhardy for doing it, but games done. Yeah. So how about no, why did I not take a picture with the NES? I'm so foolish. Hold on. Actually, if I save this as a PDF, yeah. So if I there we go. So we got that picture, and we'll do... Yeah. Now I know I have the rest of these somewhere. But I want to show you all. Shadow of the Ninja is a game I have some memories of. Playing late. I never got far. I never gained vaguely close to beating it. But I do want to show off. Now this could... I've spent about 7 or 8 hours doing a lot of tedious work to make my broadcast software actually work as fast as it's supposed to, but so I want to add, so this better work. Okay, so I click add source, and I'd be nice and patient. I don't keep clicking it, but yeah, Shadow of the Ninja is one of the earlier games I got from my NES. This was back in like 99, 2000. So in one sense, it felt like ages playing Shadow of the Ninja at the time. When I got my NES, I'm like, oh, I got this old school system. It's, you know, bringing back all these memories of when I was younger. Meanwhile, I'm I'm not. The idea that I was at that age thinking about, oh yeah, this reminds me of when I was younger is kind of sad, but here we go. So here, it's a little big. I've got to adjust it. Please let me move. And well, you could see the, you could actually see my bunny ears antenna on top of the TV. So please let me... I knew this was a bad idea, but, oh well. So we got... Okay, now I can adjust the size. Please let me make it smaller. And as sad as this is lightning fast compared to how it used to act. Come on. There we go. Move it on to a more reasonable size. Tail slamming action. We're gonna see what that game is, but I have no idea what... Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. Please let me move the image. Oh. Here it comes. I was going to do this with several photos. I think we'll be doing this only with this one. There we go. Here we go. So here is my NES setup. This is how I played my NES. And yes, that is a Selectavision CED player. That is just how... we just had that in the house growing up, and that is how I watched many of my... Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Now move this back over here. Please move over to the side. There we go. And now I just let me blow it up a little bit. Just a little. Just a little. Yeah, wood grain TVs do need to make a comeback. Here we go. Now, yep. So that is a Selectavision CED. If you don't know what CEDs are, you need to go. And it's so interesting because imagine living in an age where that little tiny TV. No one thought of that as. We didn't think of that as a small TV. We just thought of it as a TV. And this was in my childhood. This is my childhood bedroom. This is my NES setup. This no longer exists, unfortunately. The TV and the CED player were lost in Hurricane Sandy. The NES and the games I still have. Yeah, so this house is gone now, but no one was hurt, fortunately. But that NES there, that, that's my NES. And next to that is a plastic gray box that I had my Pez dispenser collection in. I had over 60 or 70 Pez dispensers, and now I only have a few. I happen to have this one on my desk. This is an original. This is a plain Pez dispenser. This is how the original Pez dispensers looked, and it is styled like a cigarette lighter because these were originally not a fruity candy for kids, but a peppermint aimed at adults. And it was supposed to resemble a lighter, and it was actually marketed in Germany as a smoking alternative. And yeah, that's how and this is the same TV. That was me. I don't know. I'm so glad I had the foresight to take pictures of this. But yeah, so this is my period accurate NES. This is how I played NES for the first time back in the day. And Shadow of the Ninja was one of those games that I played. So it's gonna make a. Yeah, I really do wish I could have saved that TV. I mean, if I had it now, it would just be taking up space somewhere, being a pain in the butt. But yeah, I remember watching Saturday Night. I remember watching so much broadcast TV. You know, beamed straight off of the North Tower of the World Trade Center. What an age. Tail slamming action. Charlie the mountain alligator must stop an evil dragon warlord from conquering the peaceful animal kingdom of Mowbray. Join Charlie as he strikes a blow for freedom with mighty sweeps of his massive tail. Okay, sounds fun. Oh, wait. Didn't mean to jump all the way down there, jeez. Wait, this is a different magazine. This is... Okay. Here we go. Oh, wait, hold on. Tailgater is the name of the game. He's wearing sneakers. That's so 90s. I love it. Alright. And look at... I just love how realistic and cartoony these characters are at the same time. Hey there, Azurest. Do you see the picture of my my old NES setup back in my childhood bedroom? Darius twin. Yeah, Darius just it just sounds like some random person's name, but it's the name of oh, Space Fantasy Zone. Oh, this is Space Fantasy Zone was interesting. This was a crossover between Fantasy Zone and Space Harrier. And I've played Space Harrier. I've never played that. I don't think that game ever left Japan. But now this we gotta check out. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Nintendo, but Super NES. The third in the Zelda series will make its debut on their Super NES this fall. This time the plot changes. You are not looking for the Triforce of Power, but rather you will travel back in time to the land of Hyrule before it was destroyed by the evil wizard Ganon. It will be aided by all new allies that you must find and locate as you proceed on your quest. Battle the minions of evil and use new spells, magic, and powerful weapons to help protect you in your travels. Expect to see a lot of spectacular Mode 7 effects as you proceed through an adventure 4 times the size of the last game. Now it's funny, this game is called The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, but it does not involve time travel, and nowadays I think it is legally impossible for Nintendo to make a modern Zelda game that does not involve some sort of time travel nonsense. But this game, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, does actually not involve time travel. They named it that because there was Legend of Zelda, then there was Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link on the NES. And this game takes place several hundred years before those games. Okay, Kalaka Boy says it's suddenly raining cats and dogs here. Alright. You just triggered a poem. You just activated a poem. We're dropping a poem right now in chat. I'm dropping a link in for everyone watching. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna drop a link and then I will just read this out real quick. This is not a long one. Hey there, Mecha Kong. There we go. Hold on to your umbrella when it's raining cats and dogs, cause the ones who didn't now have soggy fur and muddy paws. There are piles of soaking clothing where the changes did take hold, and animal control cannot handle the overload. So many little wet cats and big waterlogged dogs that pre-downpour were people heading to their boring jobs, are having fun in the water, enjoying it like they oughta, and the chance to get soaked with them is one slippery offer. But if you aren't averted to becoming someone's pet, close your umbrella, open your coat, and get wet. I never tried it myself, but growing fur feels nice, I bet, 'cause their new tails always wag like it's the best time they could have. Kitty and doggy tongues may not be well equipped to speak, but they seem to be laughing as whiskers grow from their cheeks. But even so, you might prefer to remain on 2 feet. But good luck if you do, the news predicts a rainy week. I'm sure it will all be fine, as long as you stay inside, so if you love having fums, please be certain to stay dry. Hey, I wrote that at about like 4:30 in the morning in a diner during a torrential downpour. So yes, you just get a little, Raining Cats and Dogs poem, because Kalaka Boy, unexpectedly, said something that reminded me of that. What the heck is this? Neo Geo. I know of the Neo Geo home system. The only 24-bit home arcade system. I've never heard of a 24-bit system. Yeah, Clackaboy. There haven't been many opportunities to purchase Pwn cards with your channel points, so I gave you one for free there. I've never heard of the Neo Geo referred to as a 24-bit game system. How many? I'm going to search this right now, real quick. How many bits was the Neo Geo? The Neo Geo was marketed as the first 24-bit system. Its CPU was actually a 16/32 with a 68,000 with an 8-bit Z80 processor and a 24-bit graphics data bus. Okay, that's a little more like it. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I'm like, 24 bits, huh? Okay. Alright, just marketing jargon. Super Off-Road. I only ever... No, Hot. Super Sega Savings. SSS. Paperboy 2. I've never played Paperboy 2. I only played Paperboy 1. And we are nearing up on time for our stream today, and we've only really gone through halfway through the magazine, but we've had a blast doing so. Now, of course, that's the great thing. We can come back to these magazines and focus on the parts we hadn't really focused on before. Smash TV, a game I've heard so much about, never actually played. Yeah, never played Smash TV before. Yeah, The Punisher. 16-bit. Oh, the 16-bit version of Smash TV. Now, some sweepstakes. And you could win your very own bad LCD Simpsons game. Oh, there's also a bad Smash TV game, and it looks like a Scooby-Doo game? It's kind of random. Whatever they had the licenses for. Oh my goodness. Filmation, bless your cheapo hearts. Filmation presents Happily Ever After. Filmation presents an all-new Snow White adventure. Oh, and it's... Now, I remember seeing commercials for Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night. Look at this. Happily Ever After. Filmation presents an all-new Snow White adventure. The classic fairy tale is back with all-new enchantment and a new twist. Snow White's beloved prince has been captured by the evil Lord Malice, the evil brother of Snow White's equally evil stepmother, the Wicked Queen. Helping Snow White rescue the prince are magical seven dwarf elves, the female cousins of the original seven dwarves. Yeah, whatever it takes not to get sued by Disney. Now, I remember Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night, which Disney had the gall. I mean, the fact that Filmation had the gall to make these, you know, like, Disney-styled games based on the original source material, then Disney had the balls to actually go out and attempt to sue, like, Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night. Disney actually sued Filmation, saying that it was an unauthorized sequel to their 1930s Pinocchio film, I think. No, it was not. That Pinocchio film was from the 40s, excuse me. I'm very sure it's from the 40s. And they lost. Disney lost to Filmation. That lets you... When Disney, with all their resources and power and influence, loses a lawsuit, you know it was a bad lawsuit. A baseless lawsuit. Because the original novel was public domain by that point, and they made a movie based on the characters and the characters from the novel and original characters of their own creation. The villain was actually voiced by James Earl Jones, believe it or not. What a get. And Collectible saying they're looking forward to my holiday-themed stream this weekend. Too bad they can't do a Charlie Brown Christmas party. Yeah, it's too bad. Actually, let's go just a little... Hold on. Let's see. Let's go just a little further. We'll get halfway through this magazine and call it, and we'll come back to it some other day. Because there's no point in going through 3/4 of the magazine or trying to rush through the whole thing. Worm, generated to the center of the earth. Buck Rogers. Yeah, I don't... I really wouldn't have thought of Buck Rogers as being, like, relevant by that. Oh, wow! Look at that! Now, I'm so glad we went just a little further. I am so glad we went just a little further. Sonic the Hedgehog. That hedgehog... Oh, no, this is clearly the Master System version of the game. But, I mean, anyway. That hedgehog with an attitude now is gone handheld gaming. That hedgehog with that attitude has now gone handheld gaming and makes a frenzy out of himself on the Game Gear. Collect rings and run through intricate worlds where Dr. Robotnik, they spelled it wrong, has turned your friends into robots. Free your friends and beat the evil doctor before it's too late. This very clearly looks like zoomed in screenshots of the Master System version. Yeah, these are zoomed in screenshots of Master System. This is definitely not. Alright, that's, I think, we actually found the magazine, the EGM that covers the Game Gear version of Sonic the Hedgehog. I think that's a good point to call it. And, as Kalakaboy alluded to, we will, on Saturday, the 23rd, Christmas Eve Prime, Christmas Double Eve, the day before Christmas Eve, at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing a watch-along, which will not require an Amazon Prime subscription. We will be, we'll be doing one Christmas theme cartoon, a very obscure one. Oops, I forgot to put, move chat further, move our watch party poster a little further back. There we go. That should do it. There we go. Yeah, thank you everyone for the stream. Thank you. Well, MegaKong, thanks you for the stream. I thank all of you for showing up. And let's see. Yeah, we'll be doing a variety of things. One Christmas thing that is really obtuse, and I know I can get away with putting it on Twitch, and then some VHS material. And yeah. And Bill Press saying they're partial to the Garfield Christmas special. Yeah, we watched that on Amazon Watch Party last year, but this year, since I forgot some options I have for things I can run directly on Twitch that the copyright's not being enforced for. So, yeah, that'll do it. I will see you all next time. And whether you are active in chat or standing guard in my silent squad, thank you all very much for watching.